Hi everybody, thanks for joining us for Northern Ag TV. Well, it is a busy time for Montana's sheep industry and there are a lot of opportunities in front of sheep producers. I talked with Ben Lehfeldt, a sheep producer from Levina, who's also the president of the American Sheep Industry Association, and Ben has been extremely busy as president of ASI, traveling to Washington, D.C. several times, and we finally did see some long-term priorities move with the budget reconciliation.
It's been a different time, whether you're trying to keep a sheep station or a U.S. mark station open, or looking for what opportunities there are. And the Farm Bill has been a big thing on our plate for the last 3 years. So it's been frustrating that we haven't been able to get that Farm Bill, but we were given an opportunity in this last reconciliation to get a really big chunk of our sheep industry priorities in there. So ASI is part of a wool trust that's funded, and we're able to get that funding through 2031. So that gives us the baseline to work on that policy stuff that's really so important to our farmers and ranchers. As well as that, we were able to raise the LDP of wool. We haven't had that raise for the last 20 years, so it's going to give our producers a little bit extra money to work with when this depressed wool market that we're working with China and India to kind of get a little more handle on, as well as the Sheep Center, which is our grant opportunity. The last cycle of Farm Bill, they were able to add $2 million over 5 years. We were able to up that to $3 million over this next 5 years. So there's some opportunities out there for grants to help spur the sheep industry. So we're really excited about that.
Going forward, Ben says that there's an opportunity to improve risk management tools for sheep producers.
One of the priorities we had in the House Ag Farm Bill all the way through these last few years is a risk protection product for our industry. We had LRP lamb about 5 or 6 years ago. That was something that was well utilized, but just didn't work with the volatility of our market. So we are demanding that RMA put together a product that allows us to be on the same level as our other ag commodities that have futures markets, that have risk protection. So that is a priority right now of this, what's left of the Farm Bill that'll move through hopefully in the next 6 months.
Well, there's been a big focus on trade and tariffs this year, and trade is something the lamb industry knows well, having dealt with a flux of imports coming in from Australia and New Zealand. And Ben says there could be an opportunity here to address some of those trade challenges.
Over the last 10 years, we've looked at how imports have changed in our market. Our demand's going up, but we're not seem to be capturing a lot of that increased demand, but imports maybe are. With this administration, with this Congress, it gives us a little more opportunity to look at some different options. One of the things we're doing is the 201 case. We are gathering data from our meat companies that show that loss directly related to our imports. Along with that, in these trade and tariff opportunities, we are meeting directly with our trade representatives. We're taking that meat company data that we've gathered, delivering it to our trade reps and saying, here's what's hurting our market. Here's how much competitive advantage our Australian imports have over our producers. So we have a great opportunity, hopefully in the next 6 months to a year, to really change some of that and put our product in front of the consumer so they have the choice of whether they want to buy an imported Australian or a U.S. lamb.
Ben also talked about some of the services that the sheep industry provides with targeted grazing, being able to reduce noxious weeds as well as reduce fuels for wildfires.
There's a lot of great things in the sheep industry. From our increased ethnic market, we talk about these different markets, but there's so much opportunity for that demand there. And one of the other things is this targeted grazing, solar grazing, wildfire management grazing that's going on across the U.S. Our family's personally been involved in that in a lot of respects by utilizing noxious weeds like leafy spurge, spotted knapweed on large cattle ranches or fish and game sites as opposed to using herbicides. So we've done that the last 20 or 30 years. So those opportunities of a service provided by sheep industry really have escalated in the last few years, especially with these solar panels. So there's a great opportunity for anybody that wants to get involved in sheep. Go out, buy yourself some ewes, a little cheaper than a bred heifer right now, so you can buy quite a few ewes, but that money you might be buying a bred heifer with. But, and really look at your land and understand what you can do to create value from your grasslands and move it into food and fiber.
Thanks for joining us for today's report. I'm Coulter Brown, Northern Ag Network.